Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Lifestyle with Dr. Moby. I'm Dr. Moby, and today we are honored with great guest all the way from New York, Big Apple. Let's welcome Kerry Fisher.
Hey, Dr. Moby, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm blessed. Thank you. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Kerry.
Well, my name is Kerry Fisher, and as you said, I'm from New York. The most important thing you need to know is I'm a mom of five. I'm a former attorney, and then I became a yoga teacher, which also morphed into being a coach, a life coach, and a peak performance coach. And then I started studying mindset, and I started wondering, everyone knows what they should be doing. They know they should eat right. They know that they should exercise, but why aren't people doing it? There's so much information out there. It's all over the internet, a million books on it. So why aren't we doing it? Why are we more unhealthy than ever? And I started realizing that people just don't know when they should start doing these things. So I started creating a program where there's just a simple way that you could actually begin to take steps, to take action to actually change your life. So I'm all about becoming the very best version of yourself and living your most extraordinary life. And everything I teach is a very, very simple tool that you could bring into your life immediately.
Very nice. I think you started with such a great point here, and I also wondered always. If we put it on a billboard, tomorrow is this mega million or something coming up. Everybody is rushing to buy those tickets. But if we put, oh, your health is getting better with this, it's more than $1 million lotto for you, but nobody pays much attention. That's very sad. But so I think even you and me, we both know that that's the truth. It's worth more than million.
Well, I think that especially in America, we are
Mm.
taught to chase success. And the true success in America is having a great job, making money, having a big house, being able to vacation. So, the first step I always take with people is to say that everyone needs to define for themselves what is an extraordinary life, because we're all living by other people's definitions, right?
Mm.
That's another
Mm.
person's definition. It might not be ours, but our parents, our teachers, our society, all of the things we watch on TV and hear on the radio, it all tells us one thing. When are you happy? You're happy when you have money. How much money? More money, more money. So we forget that health is really the most important thing of all, and happiness.
Mm. That is such a good point. You're right, that it is built on this wrong narrative that it is tied to some way to money and status, and that is sad. Actually, truth is the opposite of that. And if we see health crisis here in US is the worst, unfortunately. Being a physician, I can tell you that. And the other sad thing is people who are in really dire straits, especially poor people, minorities, suburban areas, rural areas, they have the worst health. So they really need more money and they have the worst health. And then that is very sad. They don't even have money to do things.
But you know
And
what? That's part of why I really want to get out there and be able to reach
mm,
more people, because money is one way to get there, but another way to get healthy is just to get access to this information. And unfortunately, for a lot of these practices, you need money to access them. It's not
mhm.
that inexpensive to get, a private nutritionist or to go to a specialty doctor or even just to go to a yoga class or a qigong class. All these things cost money. So I'm really very passionate about bringing these simple tools. It's timeless wisdom. It's been
Mhm.
around for thousands of years. It doesn't even cost you anything. Meditation doesn't cost you anything. Doing breath work
Mhm.
doesn't cost you anything. Exercise doesn't cost you anything. But it's unfortunate because the people who have the least money also have the least access to this information. So that's one of the things that actually drives me, Dr. Moby. I want this
Mhm.
information to get to everybody because it doesn't
Mhm.
have to cost a lot of money to find health and happiness. That's what I believe.
And that's such a nice, God bless you. We're really striving for to do that too. And you're absolutely right. Education is number one. It should be number one. it should be accessible. Sad thing is there are a lot of information out there which people have done that for their own reasons,
Yeah.
kind of clouded or everything. So it becomes very hard. I feel very bad when patients even don't know why they're taking medications or what really they are getting treatment for. It's just a basic, like just really basic, like they don't know what glucose is, what insulin is, what. And I'm like stunned. I said, this is not helping patients. If we talk about in doctor's term or in difficult language, they don't even know anything about it. So more than half of our conversation, even physicians or professionals, when they talk, it just goes above them because we can't come to their level. So that's why I made a point keeping my book as keep it simple, diet, sleep, and exercise. I just want to come to the basics and not talk about medicine at all. But basic, of course, is base is medicine, but kind of try to explain best I can in simple terms.
Well, it's just really incredible too, because the things that you mentioned,
Mm,
they're all things that everybody should know. We should be learning this from a very young age, but we're not. And
mm,
something as simple as getting a really good night's sleep every night, that can completely change your life. So you
mm,
and I have very similar missions because everything I teach is very simple, just like that. And I come at it a little bit more from the idea that you want to conserve your energy. So,
mm,
what habits can you put into place in your day in
mhm,
order to keep your energy at a certain level? And I love that you said that you try to speak in simple terms. So I'll tell you a story. I was a lawyer and then I became a yoga teacher. That was my first step away from law. And in yoga they have Sanskrit. So all of the poses, they have these fancy Sanskrit words for them. And of course I learned all the Sanskrit because I'm a student and I wanted to know the right terminology. But what
mhm,
I found is that it really didn't resonate with people as much and it scared some people off. So I dropped all the Sanskrit and I would just say simple terms like forward fold, bring your foot forward, instead of the fancy term. And it really resonated with people more. And
mhm,
I think that sometimes that terminology scares people off. So I love
mhm,
that you also discovered it, that we need to go back to the simple things. And it's stuff we all knew from a very long time ago.
mhm.
My grandmother used to take a walk every single night after dinner. She knew that. They knew to go to sleep when the sun went down and get up when the sun came up. We don't do these things anymore, but it's timeless wisdom.
Hmm. And that is so true. That's why these some older civilizations and people who are still practicing some basic correct routine or healthy habits, namely walking. And you don't need to actually join a gym to be healthy. You just need to walk. You just need to avoid sitting disease, and that is killing us. You're absolutely right about sleep and light and evening walk and eating better, healthier. Those are the basic concepts it should be. You cannot bypass. I try to tell all the patient all the time there is no substitute for healthy sleep. No medication can substitute your sleep time. So don't try to even look for it. Just go back and sleep. Okay, just take a break. Take a break. You cannot, be on medications to go in overdrive. Try to come up with, same stand for students trying to get grades with whatever drugs, medication they can get hands on, or people trying to sleep with whatever sleep aid they can get hold of, and that's what is hurting us. That is really hurting us.
Well, because we think that we can go around some basic facts. I mean, every single person should be sleeping 7 or 8 hours a night. But what do we say in America? Oh, those people who could sleep only 4 to 6 hours, they get so much more accomplished. We became such a go, go, go society that we forget that I mean, I don't know if this is true for you, but I learned a long time ago that I work best when I take breaks throughout the day, when I've had
Hmm.
a great night's rest. And when you could tell how things affect you when you're going through a stressful time, either like there's a family member that's ill or there's like a family problem going on, it is very hard for you to feel good. Something as simple as that. But then if you're also compounding it by not sleeping at night, now you're adding a second thing. So I think that what's happening is we're overworked, we
Hmm.
sleep, we're under rested, we don't spend time in nature, and we don't understand that resting is just as important as working. And to me, taking even sometimes an hour in the middle of the day and taking a walk, eating a really good meal, breathing, just moving a little bit, I go back and get so much more accomplished than if I had just tried to sit there the whole entire day pushing through. So rest is key. It really is.
And that's a very good point. Actually, when I was in med school, I learned that way. Is that when you were sitting in front of book for continuously 2, 3, 4 hours trying to memorize things, it does not help you. But if you take after 15, 20 minutes some break, just go, just refresh, look at it, and just come back 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's fine. Not a long break, but your efficiency is far superior. Whatever you did in 3 hours, you will be done in 1.5 hours. So it all comes down to optimization of our body. Our body works best when it's in the standard two deviation, not on either extreme. If you make it overwork, it ruins it. If you don't do any work, also it is not helpful. So it works only in between better, but you have to find the happy medium. This could be different for anyone. Somebody might like listening to music 5 minutes, or going to outdoors, or just checking something nicer which makes them give positive energy, and that is so valuable.
I love that. And that's exactly my very first book that I wrote was Tools for Extraordinary Living, the Snooze Button Sessions. And all I talk about is how you establish a morning routine. And I say make it simple. So your alarm goes off, you hit the alarm, you hit the snooze button, and then you
Mhm.
sit up and you do something for yourself during that 5 minutes of the snooze session,
Mhm.
right? So you could
Mhm.
sit up and meditate. You could sit up, you could jump up and exercise for 5 minutes. You can journal. You could write 10 things you're grateful for. You could listen to music. You could snuggle up with a loved one, play with your dog. But just that simple act of instead of going back to sleep, during the snooze session, just getting up and doing something for 5 minutes. And then when the alarm goes off, hit it again and then start your day. Just that 5 minutes in the morning of almost like starting your day with a win. It really sets you up in a very positive mindset to help you throughout the day. And I love to have a few minutes in the morning that I do that, and also a few minutes in the evening. So I call it the power hour in the morning and then the power down hour in the evening. And even if you do something that simple, people don't believe it till they try it. But if you begin and end your day in like a really beautiful way like that, it almost doesn't matter what happens in the middle. You know what I mean, Dr.
Mm.
Moby?
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. What you're saying is that so true. If you start, have a great beginning, and you don't have to be dancing up from the bed. It's just I wish we could all
I
live
mean, it
like
could be good
that.
to do that.
Yeah, I
Dr.
say
Moby,
wake up.
we
Oh.
can dance up from the bed in the morning. But you know what? That's the beauty of it. And that's what I believe.
Mm.
You figure out what works for you. Maybe you want to
Yeah,
meditate. Maybe I
yeah.
want to do some yoga. Maybe,
Mm.
my husband would rather get up and read a book for a few minutes. It's starting the day with a win. I don't know if you heard that there was a viral video a few years ago by an admiral, and he said that if you get up every day and make your bed as the very first thing, you will change your life. And the reason it works, it's the same thing. You get up, you make your bed, you start your day with a win, and it doesn't matter what crazy stuff happens. At least in the evening, you go back into your room and there's your beautifully made bed. So it's so many simple things you could add to your life There really are
Mm.
so many of them. And I'm really passionate about finding them and teaching them to people, because when I first became a yoga teacher, they were like, okay, do yoga for 75 minutes every day. Make sure you get up with the sunrise so you could do your sun salutations when the sun is coming up. Then you should meditate for an hour. Then do your breath work practice. Now you're going to start, go have your smoothie, drink 8 glasses of water. So I needed to do 6 hours of work before I even started my day just to be relaxed. And that was not relaxing.
No,
I was
that's
like
it.
trying to like check off all these boxes on my list, and it was
Mm.
almost, it became another form of type A behavior. How many of my wellness practices can I do? So I said, okay, who has time for this? Who has 6 hours every day to be well? I'm getting sick from my wellness. So that's why I really love the simple things. And what you're saying, get a whole night's sleep every single night. And
Mm.
even if you just find not only the morning and the evening, we said it already. You could take a 5 to 15 minute break after you work for an hour or two, or after lunch, go take a walk. And it doesn't have to be a 4 hour walk. It could be a 15-minute walk, a five
Mm.
minute walk. You could go sit outside and let the sun just go onto your face, even. Something as simple as that has changed my mood. Do some relaxation breathing, something very simple. If you just start to weave these things into your day, you start to get that balance you were talking about before, right? So you start to not do too much of anything. You find the balance between work and play, so that's what it's all about.
Mhm. And that is so beautiful what you said. Especially you, I did not realize, and that's true. If you really make your bed, and that really kind of pushes you, I think it says a lot about human brain, and I realize everything is because of course we study human body so well, but it is all about organization. The human body is organized from one cell to 100 cells to thousand cells or million cells. It's all very organized. None are disorganized. And so the only way to help your body is to remain organized, and then give and there is, people don't realize there's a two-way communication between every part of our body, and also outside. So outside there is so much positive energy, namely sun, and also sky, blue sky. But people don't realize the blue sky reset our brain every day. So every day our brain clock drifts by 15, 20 minutes. Um, so it is a beautiful clock, and it works magically for every cell. But it needs reorganization to know which one is day, which one is night. But it would not do that if we don't go out. So if you remain inside, then guess what will happen? So there are, all the hormones are produced. It is such a body is such organized. Some are produced at night, some are day, some are good hormones that helps your mood, that helps. So there is a reason for all this. And but I think that's where problem
Oops,
happen.
I lost you.
Sorry. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Did we lose you?
You went off for 1 second. Yeah.
Okay, am I back? Yes, somebody was calling, and sorry about that. Okay, so anyways, any final thoughts you have?
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm very happy that there's a doctor like you out there that's talking about all of these things, because I really do believe that Western medicine is good for when you get sick, but Eastern medicine is great for making sure you don't get sick. So Eastern and Western medicine work so beautifully. So I'm happy to know there's someone out there like you who's advocating these simple things like sleep and some of the more natural healing modalities. And it's just, it will only enhance your life. And I would love to tell you that you could just jump over to my website, Kerry Fisher Coaching, and you could actually get the first chapter of my book if you'd like. I have another book coming out in November. And just tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, think of me, hit the snooze button, and just spend 5 minutes doing something that makes you feel good. And then when the alarm goes off again, just hit that button and start your day. And if that feels good and you keep doing that for a week or two, then maybe you'll add a second session. So you'll do 10 minutes and just keep building that up until you have a really nice morning routine. And then if you do, reach out to me. I'm also on Instagram at I am Kerry Fisher. I would love to hear how the snooze button session is working for you. And I would love to celebrate your wins with you. So reach
Okay,
out to
good.
me.
Great, and such a pleasure talking to you. And I felt that I have known you forever.
I felt
I
like
know,
that too, Dr.
I
Moby.
know, I know. But it's always amazing when you meet people which have very similar thought process, and that's how beautiful. There are so many beautiful people out there. We love to connect and learn from them. I learned so much from you making my bed. Now I will never tell my wife to make bed, so I'll do it myself. Uh, Thank you for sharing that, and take care, and a good night.
Good night.